Yes, they can. I think it's a real shame because I think we've got two wonderful young women here who, not only play wonderful tennis and they've both played exceptionally well this tournament, they also look wonderful and represent women's tennis extremely well. And unfortunately, they've got these cameras in the actual player boxes now. I think they're going to nickname it Yuri Cam or something. So they show it a lot on TV, which is a little bit of a shame. But whatever. Hopefully the tennis, they'll be so good we won't be seeing too much of Yuri.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to sit back and enjoy it. We'll leave it to you two.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Virginia. This, as you said, being presented to the world's media as the Glam Slam final. Let's hope it lives up to its beauty billing and we have a contest to savour. It'll be Ana Ivanovic to start the women's final for 2008 at the Australian Open.
Very important that Ivanovic gets her serve on right at the start of this match. Remember in that French Open final, she had so many problems with the ball toss, and it was a real giveaway as to how nervous she was. That was a slightly wayward one right there.
No problem with the second serve. Opening ace for Ivanovic. And that will no doubt be a nerve-settling hold for Ivanovic. Both women physically, Sam, I think, arrive in this final in good order. There's been no reports of any niggles or slight injuries.
Which is something quite miraculous considering what's gone on in the women's room with Jelena Jankovic just falling to bits before our very eyes. But yes, I think a big difference for Sharapova this year is that they figured out, they found out what the shoulder was, they treated it, absolutely what the problem was with the shoulder, they treated it. She can now serve freely. She had to change her service motion in the middle of last year to try and accommodate all the problems that she has. She's back to her old service motion, and most importantly, she's not worrying about it. She can play freely out here. That makes a huge difference to her mindset.
Certainly the serve of Sharapova has been a standout feature of her performances to date, but also her movement has worked very hard during the off-season on her footwork, and now the footwork is getting her into almost the right position every time to accelerate on the shot and dominate the points. played. And there's a difference. It's more fluid movement, isn't it, I think, from Sharapova from baseline into the forecourt.
Yes, I think she's making early decisions about these short balls, when to go for them. And I remember last year, I think she was dubbed in the media as a sort of a clumsy girl in an elegant body. Well, I don't think you could say that anymore. I think it was a little harsh, but you could see what they were getting at. Not so this year.
Both women holding their opening service games comfortably. You can see that the shade at the back of the court there, the roof, as I mentioned, not fully retracted. So there is a bit of respite for both players at the back of the court.
Key area for Ivanovic, for me, playing Sharapova, or anyone playing Sharapova, is getting the service direction absolutely right. I've always had a very strong theory, and it's something that Henin does against Sharapova. It didn't work too well this year, I have to say. Is really, you need to serve down the tee on both sides of the court, because that's the worst place for Sharapova to get across, particularly in this left court, and try and get her to hang over a little bit towards the backhand. That's where she likes to protect. But if you're going to go to that spot, you've got to take it right to the line. Otherwise, you're right in the zone for Sharapova's hitting.
Which is exactly where it was there.
Exactly, and it wasn't even a great return. I mean, in many ways, Ivanovic has just got to come out here and try and blow the doors off Sharapova's game. I know she's talked about being more consistent in constructing the points. I don't think she's got a lot of time out here to construct the points. I think first strike, as soon as she sees it.
Couldn't be any better with the two-hander. It's one of her strengths, that shot down the line.
Well, she switched make and model of rackets in the off-season, and even though is a bit clueless when it comes to her rackets and her string tension, what the court is, she does say with this racket she feels that she hits a better backhand with it, and she hits a heavier ball generally.
How much of a benefit for Ivanovic coming into this final that she's already experienced a Grand Slam final last year at the French, albeit not a terrific experience to remember, but purely by being there, it'll help you in this situation?
I think it's probably good that she's had a Grand Slam final, although there's so many instances of players winning their very first Grand Slam final having no problem at all. Sharapova, a case in point. I think what's very different this year is that she came in here with the expectation that she would be at the latter stages of a tournament, a semi, a final, maybe a win, whereas she went into the French Open last year and she hadn't had a particularly good 4 or 5 months at the start of the season, switching coaches. So I think her mindset was much more for a 2-week campaign than a 1 week and wait and see.
And conditions we've talked about, very hot. That will speed up the court, won't it? And the court quicker than maybe at the start of the championships, purely from the amount of play that it's had.
Well, they'll both love that. And they call it the hairdryer day out here because it feels like you're standing in front of a hairdryer and walking over to the courts from the hotel. Believe me, it was rather sweaty and horrible.
It's also Australia Day here across the country. Plenty of celebrations, 21 gun salutes. No doubt a couple of tons of sausages, or snags as they call them, on the barbie right now. There's Yuri Sharapov. So certainly a festive atmosphere in Melbourne and all over the country. And already after about 10 minutes of play, we're seeing a pattern that if the play gets the first serve in, then invariably they're dominating the points. Sharapova yet to drop a point on serve.
Yes, I think that is one of the most relevant stats. I think one of the other ones is the winner to error ratio. It's something that Jankovic talked about in the semi-final. She said Maria was just so solid, so reliable. The strike was amazing, and she made so few unforced errors.
Very precise as well, isn't she, Sharapova, with her preparation to serve. Even between first and second serve, she tucks the hair behind her ear. She stares down her opponent, almost lining them up in the crosshairs. Eight points in a row for Sharapova on serve. Interesting, Ivanovic well inside the baseline, trying to take the ball early on that last point. As you'd expect, the camera pits are full, plenty of long lenses.
Been quite keen on those body serves, Ivanovic. Love to see her try and use her into-out forehand, which I think she's got a much better one than Sharapova, to try and get Sharapova to play some of her tennis outside of the singles court. I mean, no one has been able to really do that consistently against the Russian in this tournament so far.
This is the fifth meeting between Ivanovic and Sharapova. They're tied at 2 wins apiece, but this is the first time they've met in a final. And not just any old final, a Grand Slam final. First double fault from Ivanovic. And the opening break points go to Sharapova. It's wonderful length from Sharapova. Couple of big forehands just kissing the baseline. And the last one landing on the paint again. Sharapova with the first break of serve in this final. Couldn't handle the depth and the power. You can see how warm it is, an ice jacket already on the shoulders of Ivanovic after just 5 games.
Yes, I think these two, I mean, there's so many similarities about them, the way they strike the ball. They both do have wonderful baseline games, terrific serves. Just feel Sharapova takes the ball slightly earlier. She's a more intense player and personality. And where I think she really scores, particularly against someone like Ivanovic, is that I think she's absolutely terrific. I don't know what she does in her pre-match preparation, but she's great at getting herself in that bubble, in that zone, from the first ball of the knock-up. I think it takes Ivanovic just a little longer. But even though they're both 20, Chris, I was looking at some past history between the two of them, and the year that Sharapova won Wimbledon, 2004, that year Ivanovic was started the year ranked outside the top 700 in the world. So Ivanovic is closing really fast, but Sharapova has more Grand Slam experience, and also she's won that Grand Slam.
Yeah, 2 of them. Was Wimbledon, then the US Open in 2004, 2006. And Sharapova talked about that bubble that she found herself in against Henin, and she didn't come out of it at all. Once she was in the zone, if you like, maybe an overused phrase at times in tennis, but certainly Sharapova has been exceptional over the last 2 weeks of staying in that space.
Sharapova very quickly onto that small steps, and then her favourite way to finish the point. Absolutely scorching from the back. What the TV screens doesn't really, I think, fully illustrate is just how hard Sharapova hits this ball. It's really difficult to understand, and what she's added in it, she's far more accurate than she was 12 months ago. Couldn't have had a better start in the service department, Sharapova.
And the Russian remains flawless, yet to drop a point on serve. Coming into the final, Ivanovic had spent 9 hours and 44 minutes on court. Sharapova just 7 hours and 58 minutes.
Well, that's what we'd love to see from Ivanovic to make this a contest, that she frees herself, that she's looking for that early strike. So she's not having to spend so much time counter-attacking out here.
Overall from the chair, Enrique Molina.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sharapova is challenging the call on the left near sideline.
And the first Hawkeye challenge of the final. Both players have 3 challenges, and they receive an extra challenge if we go to a tie-break. Here's the ruling. And the umpire, embarrassingly, got it wrong.
30-15.
Second double fault from Ivanovic. This one just letting Sharapova back into the game. Ivanovic cuts the lead to the 1 game. There's Sven Grunwald on the left. Ivanovic is a part-time coach, I suppose you could say, and also Scott Burns alongside Grunwald. Burns very much a part of Ivanovic's camp now, her physical trainer, and that's also, I think, a noticeable difference as far as I'm concerned. The shape that Ivanovic arrived in Australia definitely shed a little bit of weight and is moving better because of it.
Yes, she had quite a good workout time in Sydney before she started her Australian campaign, and also in London for 3 or 4 weeks working at the National Tennis Centre.
Getting some warm weather training.
I believe they turned the heating up for her. 38 degrees it was in there.
There's Pat Rafter, was inducted into the Australian Tennis Hall of Fame before the final started. Of course, Rafter, a 2-time Grand Slam champion at the US Open, 97-98, but probably better known for his Wimbledon exploits of 2000 and 2001.
I think what we can safely say is, yes, she's in great shape. I think she realised that she's been with Scott Burns now for about a year and a half, and he's had a nice, long, slow time to really get her to understand why she's training, and, well, what better reason than a day like today. And I don't think either will seriously be affected by the heat.
No. Plenty of national pride, of course, on the nation's day of celebration. New balls in play. Sharapova with the one break of serve. 4-3.
Let's. Second service.
First point against the Sharapova serve for Ivanovic.
Love 15.
I just feel this first 7 games, in a way, Ivanovic has been a lot more worried about Sharapova than Sharapova's been worried about Ivanovic. I think Ivanovic rushing a little too much. Needs to be very aggressive, but a few more balls in court would certainly help her. Just about getting that balance, absolutely right. That's confidence, that second serve. You can see why they call Sharapova the most routined woman in sport.
Oh. If you weren't mentally strong, you'd probably find it highly irritating that there is such a huge gap between the first and second serve.
I'm clearly not very mentally strong then.
I wasn't implying that, Samantha. Big strike from Ivanovic, well inside the baseline.
15-13.
Yeah, it's about her really knowing when to go for it. Pretty short second serve, just 140 Ks. Have a go at it. Get into Sharapova's head.
There's also been the obligatory article about the shriek from Sharapova. Somebody went down there with a decibel counter and it came up to the noise of a pneumatic drill. A wayward second serve. First double fault from Sharapova.
13-14.
And a break back point for Ivanovic. thought for a moment Sharapova had made a bit of an error taking on that short ball and then running back.
Well, we haven't seen that in this tournament. When she's got the short ball, she's been more than happy to come forward, sometimes playing quite a difficult volley. But she knows Ivanovic loves a target, and maybe that will just keep her off the net. Loves just to come in on her own terms, Sharapova.
Ivanovic may well challenge this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ivanovic is challenging the call on the service line. It's been called good.
So Ivanovic's first challenge of the final. Not the best challenge.
Advantage Sharapova. Ivanovic has 2 challenges remaining. Let's for service.
Nice heavy hitting right from the first ball. Ivanovic, you feel that just starting to get a taste for this final.
Well, she's actually getting a few more first serves to look at, because Maria Sharapova's first serve percentage plummeting, just over 50% first serves in right now. And I'm sure Ivanovic has been told before going on to this match, get after a second serve if you see one.
And just maybe the fact that Ivanovic is really trying to take on the second serve, as Sam says, starting just to work away in the mind of Sharapova.
I think psychologically we've already had a little switch now. I think Ivanovic is starting to get into Sharapova's head. When they walked on court, it was the other way around.
Great back. Three double faults in that game. Sven Grunwald, Ivanovic's coach, on his feet. And that's really some turnaround, considering that Sharapova in her opening 3 service games had not dropped a point. Ivanovic very much back in this opening set.
It's another great place to serve. But again, you've got to be accurate. And you see Sharapova so far out of court. That's where she's not going to hurt you quite as much. And Ivanovic not afraid to take her backhand, which is her slightly weaker side, into the Sharapova strength. That backhand of Sharapova very rarely misses.
Sharapova's just lost her way the last 5 minutes or so. Rather wayward on serve and from the back of the court.
Really strange if Ivanovic can polish off this game here. You'd almost say Sharapova's played a couple of really poor games. Don't often see that. A couple of poor points here and there, but not games at a time.
Three games in a row for Ana Ivanovic, and she takes the lead 5-4 in the first set. Where's this come from Sharapova? It's really, I think, I'm not sure if you'd agree or not, but the first bad passage of play I think I've seen Sharapova play.
In the whole tournament?
Yes.
Well, she lost a little serving rhythm, and I just think maybe those couple of sledgehammers on the second serve that Ivanovic sort of connected with, it threw Sharapova off her game, and it's actually energized Ivanovic, because I don't think you can see with their body language, particularly the first few games, Sharapova much more intense at the start of this match. Ivanovic kind of building up the intensity and certainly making her presence felt now. And I always feel with Ivanovic, and she said that as well, that it's not just the fact she's playing a Grand Slam final. She doesn't wilt under the pressure of big matches because of the situation. Often it's the pressure she puts on herself. The dream is to be #1, to win Grand Slams, and sometimes it all gets a little too much for her.
Ivanovic will go up to #2 in the world at the end of this final, regardless of the outcome. Sharapova will stay at #5.
Be fascinating to see if Sharapova will regroup here and get this service rhythm going. It's quite tough to get it going again when you've lost it.
Well, she'll need to. If not, Ivanovic will have taken the opening set from 2-4 down. Just scorching, a flat hit, ball just skids off the surface.
Oh, Sharapova's been pretty cute in this match. She hasn't given Ivanovic too many forehands to have a look at, and this is what happens when you do. And these days, well, that was pretty flat, that one, but these days Ivanovic covers the ball more, so she has more control off that wing.
Oh, again from Ivanovic, and all of a sudden, this is a massive turnaround. Ivanovic almost just striking winners at will here. Needs the first serve, Sharapova. Has only dropped 2 points when the first servers found the mark.
Touch of Djokovic-itis there.
Yeah, so I'm glad she can smile about it.
I was just thinking, really, this is the first time the tournament Sharapova even threatened in a set.
Oh, that's good defence from Sharapova, particularly in the forehand corner. And Sharapova, coming into the final, had not dropped more than 5 games in a set against the previous 6 opponents. And as you'd expect from Sharapova, some steely resolve there. From love 30, Sharapova recovers to tie the score.
It's interesting, Chris, there's been so much talk about Sharapova before this match. You couldn't find anyone in the building that thought that Ivanovic was going to win this final. Everyone's going for Sharapova. But you just feel that if Ivanovic plays her A game, she's the one in control out here. It's interesting, we've talked a lot about how the first serve percentage is so important and winning points off that and how the ground strokes are so key, but I don't think we realise how important that return of serve off the second serve was going to be in this match.
Slightly late call.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ivanovic is challenging the ball on the left-hand side line. It's been called out.
Second challenge from Ivanovic. The first one was incorrect. This one also wide of the mark.
Second service.
Just a tight-looking forehand from Ivanovic into the middle of the net. Sharapova now with 2 points for her second break of the set.
30-40.
It's also a battle of the fist pump out here today. There's a real battle of the wills. Almost every point is greeted with the clench of a fist from either woman. A gentle feminine bulge of the bicep. Sharapova breaks again. Is this, though, the vital break of the first set? Sharapova will serve for it at 6-5. To say this has been an up and down opening set of a Grand Slam final is a bit of an understatement, Sam.
Yes, it's been unpredictable, and I think we were both, I think it was a general feeling that maybe Ivanovic wouldn't start particularly well, and we expected Sharapova to get off to a fast start. I'm just wondering, these two have made 28 unforced errors between them already, and we've only been going 45 minutes. I'm just wondering the fact that it's so much warmer today than it has been any other day, that the balls might be just flying a little more, and they're just struggling to control, because they're both flat hitters. Ivanovic maybe covers it slightly more. Certainly Ivanovic with far more unforced errors than Sharapova, but that was probably more. I know they're really going for it and really pushing, but I'm surprised. I think they're just wondering if they're just slightly struggling to adapt to the faster conditions.
That's where you'd have maybe a racket or two in your bag that was strung slightly tighter. Not that Ivanovic cares what her rackets are strung at. She said that herself. She said, I don't care what the tension is. I don't care what the court's playing like, whether it's fast or it's slow. I just get out there and I play tennis, which in itself is rather refreshing. But as you said, on a hot day like this, to have maybe that one or two rackets in your bag that are strung a touch tighter may help. So certainly an in and out first set from both women. They both had their patches of brilliance and their patches of error. 47 minutes of play, Sharapova will serve for the opening set. Ivanovic not quite ready. Maybe a photographer or two just putting her off on the side of the court. Must be quite hard waiting for Sharapova to serve. You're down in your ready position, and then you have to stay down for 10, 15 seconds before Sharapova puts the ball up. Not a bad change of tactic from Ivanovic. Just not the best execution. Only her fourth sortie into the net during this first set for Ivanovic. This is more like the opening three service games from Sharapova. Didn't drop a point. And here, when she needs it most, the first serve finding the mark. 3 set points. And one's enough. Sharapova with the opening set 7-5 after 49 minutes of play. Father Yuri shows his approval in the usual way. But there's plenty more tennis to come from this final. wasn't, as far as the set as a whole, Sam, I found it rather slow in periods, mainly because of the way that Sharapova is taking her time between serves. We look at the set one summary. Unforced errors really from Sharapova, 10 to 19 from Ivanovic. Winners equally split at 6 apiece. But it was almost a hard set to get into, to get a feel for, and I wonder whether Ivanovic feels like that as well. I don't.
Well, these two play very similar games, don't they? And they both are really going for it. And I don't think either have got a lot of time on the ball, even less so in such a hot day. And that's not really helping matters. You certainly, I feel that Sharapova much clearer out here about what she wants to do. She doesn't have that many shots, Sharapova, and she knows exactly when to use them. Now, Ivanovic has got many more options at her disposal. We've seen her come in an awful lot in this tournament. She actually has got a pretty good slice backhand as well, and she has a backhand that a slice backhand that can take Sharapova out of court. But she doesn't seem clear to me. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yes.
And I actually feel that shot selection has been an issue. And to be honest with you, when she had Sharapova at 4-5, 15-30, that drop shot that she decided to play for some unknown reason was probably why she lost that first set, because I really felt at that moment she had Sharapova.
Is that just the moment getting the better of Ivanovic?
Well, I think it's a lack of clarity of thought under pressure.
A few clouds gathering overhead. The forecast was for some thunderstorms at some time today, which won't delight the people that are going to enjoy the police concert at the MCG tonight, which is just next door.
Yes, I should be very upset if there's rain.
So first set to Sharapova, Ivanovic to start set number 2. Has been a feature of Sharapova this year, I think, in particular. Very willing to come into the middle of the court and take the ball out of the air. Seeing that opportunity, I think, a touch earlier.
Well, the marquee shot of Ivanovic is the forehand side. It decimated Venus Williams. It was terrific for most part against Hantuchova. Apart from a couple of returns, where's it been?
Yeah, hasn't been on display, has it? Again, it's been rather in and out. So played.
Well, unlike Sharapova, really, Ivanovic does have more of a B game, I think we can say. I don't think she totally trusts her B game to get in and hit difficult volleys rather than drive volleys, but I think she might feel she has to go there. And it might just get her ground strokes going. I personally feel that when she's on, she's got ground strokes to match Sharapova, but she must know how much she's missing off the ground. So maybe just switching up might get things going for her.
Paying the price for not putting that mid-court forehand away. a stunning backhand from Sharapova.
On her terms. That's how she wants to play this match. And Ivanovic is getting nowhere near the net if Sharapova gets this kind of strike on the ball.
Break point for Sharapova. The start of this second set.
Shows there's some anxiety with Sharapova. That's the horror forehand, the one that she just yanks up on rather than really going through the ball. She knows she's supposed to go through the ball. That's what she tends to. She can do that sometimes.
Oh, how was the return? On the stretch, out of the middle of the racket. First few looks from Ivanovic towards her corner. Wide. That's a big, big defensive play from Ivanovic. Had no right really to win that point. Somehow found a lob that landed on the baseline.
Yep, we've seen that time and time again from Sharapova. Second shot of the attack, going back behind Ivanovic.
There's now a 10-minute game at the start of the second set. Deuce number 5. Scott Burns on the right, Australian physical trainer. Good proved to be a crucial hold for Ivanovic. Faced a couple of break points in there. Sven Grunwald, I'm sure you remember, Greg Rosetsky's former coach when Greg was playing. I'm sure Grunwald happier to be here in the sunshine of Melbourne watching his charge in a Grand Slam final than trying to coach Greg to ice skate.
Well, I think he'll be very pleased watching that game from Ivanovic, because when he took over, started working with her about 7 months ago, he said there's an ocean of talent, there's so much power, and what I've got to do is settle her down and get her to be a better match player. And that last game was all about being a better match player, hanging in there, hanging tough, not panicking and looking to her captain saying, what do I do? Really was calm there and very composed.
That's the trophy they're playing for, the Daphne Ackhurst Memorial Cup. There for the taking.
If you can say so far what Ivanovic hasn't done well, finishing hasn't been great, it hasn't been with conviction, and the forehand hasn't worked. Her strength has not worked, and that's been more of a problem because the Sharapova backhand has been on today so far.
Second service.
Trying to change it up, Ivanovic, which is admirable. But again, just the execution is way too long in the court. Look at the time that Sharapova had to get to the ball. Very similar start to this set as we had in the first. Sharapova holding to love. Ivanovic bidding today to be the first woman from Serbia to win a Grand Slam title. That's more like it. Forehand dominating the point.
And this forehand, she can just take it either way when it's working. Technically, very sound shot. And you almost feel that's what she needs, a run of good shots, a run of winners.
Well, she found that really in the middle part of the opening set from 2-4. Just couldn't stay in the moment. What have you made of Ivanovic's daily blog, if you like, in the Melbourne Age? Every morning she's had a little article informing the public about how she's feeling, what her team's been up to, what she's been up to.
Yeah, I think it's been quite entertaining. I don't think she's revealed an awful lot. I mean, I think the most interesting thing was that, you know, she said she was totally clueless about her rackets and things like that. She comes across as very naive, very innocent, just still enjoying things, hasn't quite come to terms with what a superstar she is in Serbia, in tennis, and actually in Australia. I mean, she's been the name, hasn't she? Very, very popular.
Yeah, I think it was also interesting as well that when she said that during the war in Serbia there was petrol rationing, and sometimes they didn't have enough petrol to go in their car, so they used to cycle about half an hour to the courts and then cycle back again, and her father used to stick the rackets on his back and she just used to cycle along, and an indication really of where she's come from and how much she really desperately wants to break out and make a success, not just for herself but also for her wider family.
Yes, well, I think they both desperately want it out here. Just really who's ready to take it. I think Ivanovic still has a statement to make. I think it's a statement match for her. Is she really ready to absolutely step up and win a slam? We know Sharapova is, and I think her father did quite a lot of cycling with her backwards and forwards to the Bollettieri Academy when she was about 8 or 9. I think she used to sit on the back of the cycle. They both have terrific perspective on their tennis and their game and themselves.
The good thing about this match is that we have a final. The last 4 or 5 women's Grand Slams finals have been very one-sided. This one is tight. It's a contest. Again, it's a flat hit that's proven to be highly effective on this plexi cushion court. This court brand new at the start of the championships after the rebound ace was ripped up. I think in general as well, the change of surface has been well received by the players. There's always been varying thoughts on the pace. Some people have thought it's slow, others have felt that it's rather quick.
Because no one's really come out and said, oh, I wish we had the rebound ace back.
No.
Let's the service. Ladies and gentlemen, Ivanovic is challenging the call on the service line. It's been completed.
First challenge for Ivanovic in this second set. Both players now with 3 challenges at the start of every set. She was right. It was well long.
Second service.
And how's that? Just a snapshot
4-3-15.
from Ivanovic. Somebody getting a little bit eager with the score. Dominant serving again from Sharapova. Early stages of a set. Just the 1 point against the serve.
Yeah, she's done well to pull that part of her game together. I still feel out here that Sharapova's probably not playing as well as she has done in many of her previous matches. Maybe it's because it's a final, maybe because of the type of opponent that Ivanovic is. And Ivanovic, if she could just raise her game and get somewhere near her best, it's all out here for her.
Yep. Change of balls, both players going for a new set of strings.
What Ivanovic has to do is just keep herself out here as long as she can, and the game might come. But to do that, she's got to compete better than Sharapova.
That's not an easy thing to do. Sharapova read the pass and then tried to drive the volley.
She just got a little stressed out there, didn't she, at the net?
The first volley was perfect. This one, a mixture of the two. Third ace from Ivanovic. Sven likes it. And a hold to love. 3-2. So as you're saying, Sam, that Ivanovic has to stay out here as long as possible. Is there anything else that she can do to try and find her rhythm from the back of the court and to get the forehand working more efficiently, cutting out the errors? Is it a question almost of going back to the basics?
Well, she could give herself a little more margin for error. I think she really has to try and knuckle down. I think she's starting to do this and not worry about so much about Sharapova. I think in that first set she was so worried about the Sharapova strike. She was taking it right to the lines, and of course it must have got into her head a little, because everyone's been talking that Sharapova's not just been playing really well, she's been playing exceptionally well. So there is an aura that Sharapova has built up really through the 2 weeks. I think Ivanovic quite aware of that. I think finding your rhythm is a very personal thing. I think if she can get the serve going a little better, hopefully it'll radiate out to the rest of her game. But certainly Ivanovic last couple of games getting in the right areas, and for me Sharapova has been, well, apart from those 2 horrible games, has been sort of playing okay, well enough. May need to raise her level if she wants to finish this match off.
Which Sharapova is more than capable of doing. Just as Sam's saying there, Ivanovic is capable of finding her rhythm at some stage. Haven't really had a moment in this match where both women have been playing at their best at the same time. It's not a bad play to try and take the serve on and come in behind it. It is very hot here in Melbourne today. When the players walked out, it was 32 degrees. A high of 35 was expected. We have tried to find out exactly what the court temperature is right now, and that we've been politely told that they won't tell us. That suggests to me that maybe it's above the 35-degree limit.
I would guess it's a lot hotter on the court. I think the thermometer that they use is sort of up a mountain somewhere. They don't seem to have a courtside thermometer. Obviously, the heat is rather a thorny issue here, as well as what time they put on night matches as well. There's been a few areas of controversy so far in this tournament.
At the end of this set, if Ivanovic wins it, and the players request the roof to be brought over, the referee can come on court and at his discretion agree, and the court will be covered. That's if both players really feel it's necessary. Was this a mirror image of the first set for Sharapova on serve? The opening 3 games, she hasn't dropped a point. A stunning, right down the line from Sharapova. And now the first real chance of this second set for the Russian.
Sharapova building up some momentum here and she'll be absolutely thrilled. This shot was also on the run. And a rather sort of desperate sortie to then look at Ivanovic's court position. Did not make up the ground, way behind that service line.
So quite a second serve. Change of pace there from Ivanovic on the first serve. Just making sure she got the ball in.
We've seen that a few times this tournament in that left court, looking to kick it out there. And it's good to see from Ivanovic because she has had a tendency in her career just to really hit the first serve just as hard as she can on every single delivery. And then just kick the second one in. So the same serving pattern really gives the receiver a lot of chances.
Double faults have come at the wrong moments for Ivanovic. That's number 3. Sharapova with a break point. Ivanovic has already faced 2 in this set in the opening game. This time, Sharapova makes use of the break point and takes a 4-3 lead right in the heart, the engine room of this final. Sharapova a set and a break. And Ivanovic, those last 2 points, a double fault and a forehand, her strength, into the middle of the net.
Yeah, it just shows you where her mind is right now. And I think the contrast between the two and the gulf between the two is Sharapova's ability to focus, not only in the less important parts of the match, but as you said, right in the heart of this second set. Ivanovic not quite there yet against this kind of opposition.
See both players with ice packs wrapped around the neck, and in Ivanovic's case, an ice jacket. Come back beyond Borg. I don't think that is possible. Borg now playing some of the seniors tennis. So Ivanovic with plenty to do now, and she's got to do it really from here. Difference if Sharapova had broken in the first game of the opening set, then there would have been time for Ivanovic to recompose herself, to stage a fight back. But now Sharapova just 2 service holds away from her first Australian Open title. Sharapova, you feel as well, arrived here with, I think, a real feeling that she wanted to expel the memories, the ghosts of last year's final. She wanted to almost correct a wrong and make it right. She might just do it here today.
Well, Ivanovic has got to make Sharapova play more in these service games. I mean, there's a chance here for Ivanovic, because the end Sharapova is now. She's got the sun right in her eyes, and a lot of the other players are saying what a difficult end that can be to serve at, particularly at this time of day.
Just hasn't made Sharapova play enough balls in this game.
No, and Sharapova's first serve percentage way down what it has been for most of the tournaments, around about 54% now, and it hasn't really, it's been around that for most of this match. There's been a lot of opportunities for Ivanovic.
Well, that may be the way forward for Ivanovic. Just relax and swing away.
We haven't really seen the relaxation in Ivanovic this whole match. There's always been something slightly shackling her.
I'm not sure what that was, a burst of music. Distracting for both players. During the first week in our commentary box next door, somebody fell through the roof.
Oh, yes.
Don't think that's happened. Maybe just a technical hitch with the sound system. Sharapova just one game away from her first Australian Open Championship. Ivanovic just hasn't been able to get into any of Sharapova's service games in this second set. Fourth double fault for Ivanovic, and now very close to losing this final.
Love
33 unforced errors from Ivanovic. Just the 15 from Sharapova. And that really has been where the difference has been in this match.
She's been solid and reliable for most of this match. Just a couple of games in that first set. Apart from that, been terrific.
3 championship points for Maria Sharapova.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sharapova is challenging the Kong on the left baseline. It's been called out.
Might be worth a challenge, why not? Certainly driven hard to the baseline. May just have caught the back edge. It's close.
15-14. Sharapova has 2 challenges remaining.
One more championship point for Sharapova. That'll do. After last year's final nightmare, Maria Sharapova sinks to her knees and does have her day in the Melbourne sun. Straight sets today for Sharapova, and overcome with a touch of emotion. I'm sure maybe reflecting back on last year's final where she was outplayed by Serena Williams. This year, Sharapova's returned a better player and worthy of the Australian Open Grand Slam title.
Ladies and gentlemen, it will take us a few moments to set up here on Broadway Arena, and our presentations will be underway very
Sam, your thoughts on the final? Wasn't the best as far as quality, but we had a contest at least.
No, Sharapova did so well. What she did was she came out here and she got the job done. And to play so well throughout the tournament, she's played excellently from start to finish is quite something in itself. And she managed to get rid of Davenport, the world #1, and Jankovic, and also Ivanovic, who's been a real form player these 2 weeks as well. And I just think for Ivanovic, I'm sure she'd be devastated because she didn't play particularly well and she didn't force Maria to play her best game. I just think Ivanovic needs a little more time.
Certainly, I'm sure we'll see more of Anna Ivanovic this year and in years to come in the latter stages of Grand Slam championships. So her 3rd Grand Slam title. Craig Tiley there, the tournament director, just offering his congratulations to the new Australian Open champion. Her 1st Grand Slam title in 2004 at Wimbledon, her 2nd in New York at the US Open in 2006, and now in 2008 the Australian Open champion. Sharapova probably just on the phone to her mum trying to say, I've done it. So an hour and 32 minutes of play, and we await for the podium to be erected as we see the celebrations of Father Yuri and Michael Joyce, Maria's coach and hitting partner. And very shortly the Daphne Ackhurst Memorial Cup will be presented to this young lady.
So Sharapova is the champion for junior. We were watching back here. It didn't quite ignite. Some great moments in the final, but it wasn't the great final we were anticipating.
No, we were hoping, weren't we, for it to be the points to be a bit better contested and ending with more winners than they mostly were ending with losers, or a lot of them were. But Sharapova, I mean, she had a bit of a hiccup in the first set, and the first set was pretty good. And then the second set just evaporated. And just as we see those
Unforced errors, 33 by Ivanovic, 15 by Sharapova.
I know,
That's a lot of unforced
That tells
errors.
you an awful lot. So, I mean, Sharapova just really played a much better match. She served better. She had that one game when she served 3 double faults. And other than that, she was winning, I mean, like 4 service games in the first set to love and a couple in the second set. And so I just had a terrible feeling when Ivanovic was 5-4 up and love 30 on Sharapova's serve, and she got so overexcited almost. And you know, it's so tempting to do that. You're so pleased that you've suddenly got that's what you're aiming for, to get a break, and then you get love 30, and then you've got to stay and concentrate to the end of it. And she never was the same again after that.
I think maybe when the mind starts rushing and you don't think, because she did play that rather odd drop shot
That's
at such a
right.
crucial time in that game.
I know,
as
where
well.
her mind wasn't just playing out the point, because you know, those are the important points in the match, and you've just got to make sure that you concentrate till the end. And then that was probably the best passing shot right there that Sharapova hit. She was fairly dominant, was she not? I mean, she really was clobbering the ball. She always looks as if she was the one who was doing very little work inside the baseline and moving Ivanovic around, and Ivanovic's serves were a struggle the whole time.
Because Maria had a slight wobble with the serve, but then she got it back, and I think that shows just the power of how she's improved, and she is a much better player. I mean, forget what happened in the final last year, but she was a much better player this year than she was 12 months ago.
No question. I mean, she's played a magnificent tournament, let's face it. So, you know, I think she earned the right throughout the tournament to serve not quite so well today, because she played so convincingly well, and she was really foolproof the whole way through. And if she made a couple of errors and had a slightly tough few games, you know, she still had the confidence to come back. So she was the better of the 2 players without any question today. And Ivanovic, as Sam and Chris were saying, I mean, Ivanovic has still got a little bit of maturing to do. Still, mentally, she's got to find a way to... She's a more emotional player in a way. And she's got to find a way of controlling the adrenaline so that she still focuses and keeps her energy up, but doesn't go boil over. You see that a lot, you know. It's sort of one of the things that I think the players have always sort of been encouraged to do is, you know, pump your fist and show the opposition that you're feeling pretty good about things, but it's very easy to overcook it.
I think it's also, I mean, it's a learning curve as well, as you say, for Anna. I mean, Maria, although they're both the same age, a couple of months in it, she's so experienced and so mature in these situations. And I think Anna's still learning what to do, and possibly, as you said, will look back and think, well, hold on, I'm not going to start celebrating until it's, you know, time to celebrate, or time to get overexcited in the crucial games.
And the one thing that we all said about Sharapova the whole time, and ever since she was so incredible at that final of Wimbledon, is that she concentrates every single point. She stays focused, she stays in the moment. You don't see her mind wandering anywhere else. Even when she didn't play that well this past year in the US Open, and she lost to Radwanska, and she was all over the place, but she still was there mentally.
Okay, so the players look as though they're about ready, so let's hand back to Sam and Chris.
Thank you, Sue. Just waiting for the host broadcaster, Channel 7, to more than likely come off a commercial break. The MC for the day is Sandy Roberts. Sandy Roberts, one of the presenters for Channel 7 right the way through the fortnight. Will
Ladies
be,
and gentlemen,
on
before
deck
we
as
commence
well.
our
Here he is.
presentation, what about a nice warm round of Australia Day applause for our 2 finalists once again. Once again, this year our sponsors have been very generous, and that of course includes Garnier, and it's my pleasure to make welcome to the stage Mr Mark Tucker, who is the Managing Director of Garnier. And it's now my pleasure too to introduce once again the President of Tennis Australia to commence our presentation. Make him welcome once again, Jeff Pollard.
Well, thank you, Sandy. Mr Premier, Lord Mayor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, firstly, let me congratulate both players on such a closely fought final. Anna, you thrilled us for the last couple of rounds with magnificent wins over Venus and Daniela, and so close today, but we do know, as a result of your performances here at the Australian Open, that you've risen to number 2 in the world. And I'm sure they all agree that number 1 is just around the corner, as is winning a Grand Slam title in the not-too-distant future. So congratulations. To Maria, you've now added the Australian Open of 2008 to the Wimbledon title that you won in 2006 and the US 2004, and the US title that you won in 2006. So that's a wonderful achievement. Apart from the 15,000 fans you've got here, you've got millions all around the world, and I'm sure they're all applauding your victory today. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, can I just take this opportunity of thanking our major sponsor, Kia Motors, our associate sponsors, Garnier and GE Money, our other partners, Rolex, IBM, Optus, Aviva and the Victorian Government, our other sponsors, our broadcast partners led by the host broadcaster of the Seven Network, all our Tennis Australia and Melbourne Park team led by CEO Steve Wood, the tournament director Craig Tiley, the referee Wayne McEwen and Digby Nankara, the marketing director. And finally, can I, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, the spectators. I know we've got another day to go, but we are already ahead of last year's record. So I want to thank you all for the wonderful support that you are giving us to continue this, to grow this Grand Slam of the Asia Pacific. Thank you all for your support.
Thank you, Jeff. And before we meet our runner-up and our winner, let's also put our hands together, and I know Jeff's got a small presentation to make, to our umpire who is in charge of today's match. He's from Spain. Please put your hands together and thank Enrique Molina. Thank you, Enrique. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to our runner-up. As Jeff said, despite the loss, she has moved to number 2 in the world. We've only seen her out here a few times, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of this hugely talented 20-year-old. Let's thank and really give a warm round of applause once again to Ana Ivanovic.
First of all, I want to thank Mr. President for very kind words. I want to congratulate Maria for a great tournament and for giving me a tough time today, but I'm sure we have opportunity to play many more matches in the future. Also want to thank all the sponsors and tournament directors for making this tournament possible and for organizing such a great event. For all the staff and ball boys, ball girls, they were great whole week. Transport, everyone, and for you guys, you were the best crowd here and I enjoyed it so much. I'm very emotional and you guys make it really a special experience for me. I want to thank all the people in my box for supporting me. My uncle had a birthday today, so happy birthday. My sparring partners, my family back home, friends back home, and Scott for doing such a great job for my fitness, and Sven for helping me with my tennis and being patient with me, which is not always easy. And my manager back in Switzerland, and just all you guys, thank you so much, and I really look forward for seeing you all next year. Thanks.
Did a good job there of holding our emotions together, Ivanovic.
Coming back here again next year.
Yes, she'll certainly
Ladies
have her
and gentlemen,
day.
just before we meet our new champion, it's worth just pondering where this particular event goes to right around the world, and we want some audience participation for the next couple of seconds because we're going to show you firstly a shot of fans in Sydney who are enjoying our coverage of the tennis, and we'd like you to give a big warm round of hellos to everyone up there in Sydney. Could you do that? Hello. There they are. And as this is the Grand Slam of the Asia Pacific, then we should have everyone in Shanghai tuning in and watching as well. So hello to everyone in Shanghai. There we are. It just shows that the Australian Open is getting bigger and better each and every year. Well, last year she tried and she wasn't successful. This year she tried again, and now her name goes on the Daphne Ackhurst Trophy. Our champion for 2008, ladies and gentlemen, Maria Sharapova.
Sharapova's third Grand Slam title. There'll be more to come as well, still just 20 years of age.
Wow. He just said I was quite close to winning last year, but I actually wasn't. I only won 3 games. This is just incredible. You know, if someone had told me in the middle of last year that I would be standing on this stage in front of all you guys with the big one, I'd probably say forget it. You know, last year was a pretty difficult year for me, and my coach as well. He lost someone really, really important in our team, his mother. And every single day, every time we went on the court, Jane was the word that came into our minds. And you know, tennis became so small in everyone's perspective then. And you know, I really want to dedicate this win to her because after that loss that we all suffered. I just gained a whole new perspective in life and my injuries and how to treat life with respect. And you know, this morning I got a text from Billie Jean King saying champions take chances and pressure's a privilege. And I think as an athlete, that's what Anna and I and everyone that plays wants to achieve. We all want to take our chances, and I'm just so fortunate I took mine today. And Anna has a wonderful future ahead of her. She's a great young girl, and I'm sure we're going to be playing many more times, and both of us are going to have many more chances. Thank you to all of you. The Serbian fans are quite loud, but I know. But that's okay, because the Russian fans are still there, but they're not as loud. And I love them all, and I even love the Serbian fans because they come out and they fill out the stadium, and that's what we tennis players play for, is to play in front of a full crowd. So thank you to all of you supporters. To all, thank you. To my incredible team, Michael, my father, Max, and Roberto for helping me throughout the tournament. And it is also my mom's birthday today. So happy birthday, Mommy. I love you. This year on stage it was her birthday as well, and I lost, so that was pretty depressing. But with this big fat check, I'm going to send you a bunch of roses, so look out for those. And all the sponsors as well who've done an incredible job with this tournament, the organizers and the volunteers, from the locker room attendants to people that, you know, when we ask to turn off the tennis radio in the car off, they do it for us because they understand we're watching and playing tennis all day long. And the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour, of course, for helping us in many ways. God, if I forgot anyone, I'm so sorry. But Aaron and Donna as well, you guys are great luck charms, and I love you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to be here again.
Our champion for 2008, Maria Sharapova.
Well, certainly one of the more emotional acceptance speeches we've heard in a while.
We'll take a short break, but be back with more tennis.
Maria Sharapova dedicating the Daphne Ackhurst Memorial Cup to Michael Joyce's late mother, Jane. And as she said, really, she didn't come close last year in the final, but she's won the big one, in her words, the Australian Open for 2008. Anna Ivanovic, the runner-up, she'll have her day, I'm sure, but it is Maria Sharapova who's the champion here in Melbourne.
And those pictures will be going around the world, and I think, Virginia, that both of these two, only 20 years of age, both of them, we're going to see them in many Grand Slam finals to come.
I don't see why not. I mean, it's amazing how quickly the guard changes these days, and it looked when, we'll keep going back to the Wimbledon that Sharapova won, but it looked like she was going to dominate everybody, and she had her ups and downs, but she
just
is
too
looking,
young, wasn't she,
yeah.
I think, at 17 to really cope with the enormity of